What's so good about retirement online for employers? 3 things. Starting next year, it'll make your work with the retirement system faster, simpler, and easier. Whether you have 15 employees or 1,500, Retirement Online will transform the way you do your retirement system work. Retirement Online will make your work more convenient, save you time, and improve the service you provide to your employees. It's faster. When you sign up members using Retirement Online, you'll get their enrollment information and contribution rates immediately. No more waiting for an acknowledgement. You can even submit employee information up to 30 days ahead of their start dates. It's simpler. Built-in notifications let you know when to start and stop deductions for your employees. And if an employee's contributions are underpaid, overpaid, or improperly withheld, you'll find out right away. It's easier. With Retirement Online, you can upload all your monthly reports in one place and view past reports whenever you need to. These improvements aren't just better for you, they're better for your employees. And this might be the biggest benefit of all. You'll spend less time on retirement system business and more time doing your day-to-day work. If you have questions about Retirement Online, contact our Employer Help Desk or visit us on the web. Faster, simpler, easier. Retirement Online.
Hello everyone, and welcome to NYSLRS Retirement Online webinar, where we are excited to field your questions about using NYSLRS job codes in Retirement Online. My name is Anna Winans. I am the NYSLRS Outreach and Change Management Lead for the Retirement Online project. I hope you all enjoyed that video describing some of the benefits of our new Retirement Online. Again, this webinar is to answer questions on NYSLRS job codes for both our state and local employers. We want to provide a brief overview of what NYSLRS job codes are and how they will be used within the enrollment process. NYSLRS job codes are a new part of the member enrollment process in Retirement Online, which launches in May 2019. NYSLRS job codes determine if an employee is eligible for any special plans and will be required for all enrollments. You will need to be prepared to select job codes for employees as part of the enrollment process at Go Live. These job codes are specific to NYSLRS and may not match the role titles you use within your organization. To start the member enrollment process, where you will enter NYSLRS job code information, you'll access the Enrollment Dashboard in Retirement Online. To access this dashboard, you will need to have the Personnel Security role in Retirement Online. As part of the enrollment process, you will be asked to enter the employer details. It's important that you enter the correct retirement system for the member. This selection will determine which NYSLRS job codes are available for you to enter later on in the process. For example, if you enter ERS, only ERS job codes will be available to select from. Once you enter the employer details and a new member's personal information, you will be able to update the member's job information. Here, you will select the NYSLRS job code that most accurately reflects the work the employee does. The NYSLRS job code you select will determine what benefit plan the employee is eligible for. To help you determine which NYSLRS job code to select, we have created an interactive tool located on our employer website. This tool provides descriptions for each NYSLRS job code. In this tool, you can select a retirement system, either ERS or PFRS, before selecting your employer type. Once you filter, the tool will display the NYSLRS job codes that are applicable to your organization. If you are unsure of which NYSLRS job code to pick, however, we encourage you to review the list in its entirety. We hope that helped serve as a quick overview. Our first question If a job code is incorrectly selected, how is it corrected?
Hello, this is Allison Ryan, and I'm the registration manager. To ensure that you pick the correct job code, we encourage you to use the job code tool. In the tool, you can filter, but if you are unsure of what system your employee falls into, it may be beneficial to review all job codes available to ensure you're picking the most accurate code. An example of this would be for police cadets or police recruits. If the recruit or police cadet is still in the academy, not yet sworn in and not receiving a salary, they would only be eligible to participate in the New York State and local retirement system. If the recruit has been sworn in as a police officer and is being compensated, the recruit would be eligible to participate in the New York State Police and Fire retirement system. Another example would be a police chief or a fire chief. If they're a new employee and as such did not move up through the ranks and does not have an existing police and fire retirement system membership, these people would be eligible to participate in the New York State and local employees retirement system. Normally these positions are administrative. If the police chief or fire chief moved up through the ranks and was an existing police and fire retirement system member, they would be eligible to remain in the New York State Police and Fire retirement system. If you feel the job code that you selected it was incorrect, please contact NYSLRS at 866-805-0990.
Our next question, are your job codes different from other civil service job codes?
Hello, I'm Maria Gilbert. I'm the section head in registration, and yes, our job codes are unique to NYSLRS.
Who on my team is responsible for entering job code information?
Hi, this is Alicia Sullivan. I'm a section head in registration. You will need the personnel security role to access the Enrollment Dashboard and enter the job code information through the enrollment process.
Our next question is, how will it work for a retiree who has an elected position and an hourly position?
Hello, this is Margaret Barbarisi. I'm an assistant director over the registration unit. And yes, this is a great question. You only need to report your retirees if you are using enhanced reporting. Until you start using enhanced reporting, you will not need to provide this information to us.
Our next question is, what types of codes would a library typically use?
Hi, this is Allison. If you find that the job codes listed don't exactly match the titles your organization uses, use the job code description to help you make the best choice. The job code you use determines an employee's retirement benefits. It's important to choose the correct code so your employee receives all the benefits to which they are entitled. Do not use a general code such as 3600E, which is a general employee, when a more specific code is available. Only use the general codes if no other code fits.
Our next question, we took the bronze and silver level training so long ago, I honestly do not remember any of it. Will there be updated classes again when it gets closer to go live?
Hi, this is Rebecca Fisher. I'm a transition coach with training. So you can retake some classes now. We still have available to you on our Learn More page, the Silver Certification Toolkit, and also the Legacy Employer Reporting Fundamentals self-paced course.
Our next question is, what is the difference between location code and agency code?
Hi, this is Alicia Sullivan. A location code is what you were assigned by NYSLRS. As far as the agency code, it's another code that state employers use.
Hi, this is Lori Papa, the director of the redesign project. Another item about the agency codes is that they are only issued to state agencies. They're used for state payroll processing. What we did is we added those to our pages because sometimes we found that our employers that are state agencies, they remember their agency code, but they don't always remember their location code, although they're very similar. So we put that on our page to help you, so if whichever one you remember, you can get through the page successfully. If you are not a state employer, For instance, if you're a county or a city or a town or a village, that option will not pop up for you. We know that you're not state, so you'll just have to enter your location code.
Will we be entering codes for already existing employees?
This is Margaret Barbarisi again. What you will do is you will not retroactively enter the codes, but once you update an employment instance for that person, at that time, you would select the appropriate job code.
Margaret, can you explain a little about why an employer might need to update the employment instance?
A person might need to update an employment instance because it might be relevant to a plan coverage. Someone might go from an A15 to a 20-year plan, or someone might have overtime limitation caps. I know, especially with police and fire, with the new legislation, we do need to capture salaries to properly calculate overtime cap limitations.
Okay, our next question, does everyone need to use job codes?
Yes, this is Margaret again. Everyone does need to use job codes. It is going to be a new way of processing employment instances, and everyone will be using the same tools.
Okay, our next question is about the job code tool. I did what the instructions said to filter the job codes for a school, and I don't see many that I would use. I also don't see what to use for a custodial worker or groundskeeper.
This is Margaret, and you are right. We will not be able to capture every job title that exists for our over 3,000 participating employers, so we had to limit the amount of codes that we would make available. We tried to accommodate most titles, especially those that would result in special plan coverage, but as we had indicated previously, if you do not find something specific, you would use general, but for the instance of a custodial position, there is a laborer job code that should work for your instance.
Our next question, what is the role/title that is required to enter in order to enter this information on Retirement Online? Is it the personnel security role?
Hi, this is Alicia. Yes, you do need the personnel security role in order to assign codes to any of your employees within Retirement Online. Also, anyone that is also doing reporting coming later in Enhanced, so that's a little ways off. You'll be able to do that if you have the employer reporter, uploader, and submitter roles. For Legacy that's starting Go Live, it's personnel security role that you need.
All right, our next question, is there search engine capabilities for the job codes? Or do you have to scroll through the title to determine the most accurate code? No, I believe you cannot search the tool. You must first select a employer type, ERS, PFRS, and then find the most appropriate job code.
Anna, I'd like to add to that. This is Lori. Within this job code tool, I've taken a look at all of the categories out there of different types of employers, and I think on average there are anywhere between 10 and 36 unique job codes per individual type of organization. So what I would recommend is that once you search and find the kind of entity you are, say you're a school and you're in ERS, you would take a look at that page, and we've included a print button on the page where you can print out the results, and you could even tack that up on a handy reference place for you and take your own notes on that page so that you could write in words or job codes that are meaningful to your organization which job codes you believe you need to use. That would be my suggestion.
Is there a place we can access job codes already assigned to our employees so we can be consistent?
This is Margaret. I do know that for a lot of our information that has been converted to PeopleSoft, we have assigned specific job codes. I don't believe that those codes are going to be provided to employers only because it is not an exact science. A lot of times plans are used to retroactively determine which would be the appropriate code for a certain title, because we don't often capture the exact job title now. So I believe just going forward, it would be to your advantage to determine which codes at that point in time are most appropriate to that position.
All right, our next question. You have ambulance medical technician for Nassau County and paramedic for the town of Tonawanda. We are in Suffolk County and employ EMT-B, CC, and Ps. What is the difference?
Hi, this is Margaret. Often when you review the job code tool, you'll see a title and it will say this title specific to like the town of Tonawanda, but it will not make reference to the city of Elmira. What that really means is that we know that you may indeed have those same job titles, but if you have those job titles, they will be enrolled in regular retirement plans. But certain towns and villages actually have specific titles, or excuse me, specific plan coverage, more than a general plan coverage for their employees. So that's why we will name someone under a certain employer. So if you do have a paramedic, but you are not the town of Tonawanda, if you were to pick that title, because you do not offer a special plan coverage, your employee would just be enrolled into the regular plan, more than likely an A15 plan. So we do not accommodate every title for every employer, but we do have to specifically call out any title that warrants a special plan coverage.
Our next question, is this only for new members? Will we have to register all current employees as well?
Hi, this is Lori again. Yes, the job codes that you will be using will be through this enrollment dashboard. So it will be for all new employees at this point. As Margaret referred to before, we are going in the process as part of our system upgrade. We're converting over everyone who's currently a member of ERS or PFRS, and we're making our best guess as to their job titles. So this function, you'll have to use it just for the new people that you enroll through this enrollment dashboard.
All right, our next question, is there a job code for just deputy sheriff? Not court security or not jailer, just deputy sheriff?
This is Margaret, and yes, there is a job code specific to deputy sheriff.
All right, our next question. You've mentioned that an incorrect benefit code may affect the benefits to which a member is entitled. I'm not sure I understand what this means exactly. Can you clarify? How are benefits determined now?
Hi, this is Margaret. When we enroll someone to membership, obviously we do have to have a lot of information regarding that employment instance, one of them being a job title. So if you are enrolling someone such as a secretary, more than likely they'll just be covered by an A15 regular career plan. But if you're enrolling someone like a sheriff or a police officer, they are entitled to special plans, often 20 or 25-year retirement plans, whereby once they work in that capacity for 20 or 25 years, they can retire regardless of age. But if someone such as your secretary is in an A15 plan, there are age restrictions and penalties if you retire early. So that's what we mean by, if you really are looking at that job code tool, please, by all means, look it up and down. Make sure you choose the appropriate code, because the code you use will be translated into the retirement plan coverage that new hire receives.
All right, our next question. I am from a town and don't see a job code for water plant staff, crossing guards, or planners.
Again, this is Margaret. We would really like to accommodate every job title, but as you can imagine, it's not possible. So please look at everything. You might have someone that's clerical. You might have someone that's a laborer. Certainly go that route. If you feel that they don't address what your needs are, you can certainly use general employee code, but please use that as the last resort.
All right, our next question is, what if you work two different jobs with two different titles?
Hi, this is Margaret. Getting used to my voice. I know right now a lot of times, especially when it comes to school districts, we'll have someone that gets registered that they're half-time a teacher aide and half-time a secretary. And when someone is registered, we do want to know what their primary job is. We will use that to determine the retirement plan logic. And we ask that you provide that information as well. If the different job title maybe warrants a special plan coverage, we need that information as well.
All right, our next question, is the location code the same as a NYSTEP location code, just with a leading 0?
Hi, this is Lori. Sometimes, but not always. So that's why we put the agency code and the location code there. For instance, here at the Office of the State Controller, our agency code is 02000, and our location code is, with a 0 in the front, it's 0200. But that is not the case with every state agency. So I would not apply that rule. If you know the agency, the NYSTEP agency code, you can put that in and we will translate that and give you the proper location code.
Hi, this is Beth Wicks from Employer Services. Also, if you have access to the system, it'll show what your access is when you go to log in. You should be able to see, your security administrator could tell you also what your location code is with us. So whether you wanted to, there's 2 opportunities. You could use either one, but if you're concerned about getting the location code right, the person who granted you access to our system will be able to help you out with that also.
Okay, our next question. What happens if someone changes jobs? What if the employee's job code changes after they are enrolled? Example, they are hired as a school paraprofessional, but a year later are reappointed in an office staff position.
Certainly, this is Margaret. Certainly, we do want every employment change to be captured because I indicated it may result in a different plan coverage. It may affect a calculation of overtime limitations. So we ask that you provide those changes to us.
Okay, our next question, as mandatory enrollee employees are automatically enrolled, is this only required to be entered for optional enrollment employees?
Hi, this is Lori. That sounds like somebody who has been paying attention to our state agency presentations. Mandatory enrollees who are listed as employees or paid through PayServe will be taking advantage of our enhanced reporting beginning in April, and they will be mandatorily automatically enrolled. So yes, if you are a state agency, the Enrollment Dashboard, it will only be used for optional enrollments, and that's why you need to understand the how to choose the proper job codes. State payroll is actually selecting those job codes for you during that automatic enrollment process, based on the information that you provide. But for all other employers, all local employers, the automatic enrollment of mandatory members does not begin until your organization gets on to enhanced reporting, which is a conversation for another day.
Okay, our next question, Lori, is will a job code need to be given to every employee listed on our first report to an enhanced filing? They are not going to be required in legacy reporting, correct?
Correct. In legacy reporting, which is what you submit today, your file format does not change. There is not room for a title or a job code in that file. So we do not need that for your existing members. Once you move to enhanced reporting, we will start to request additional information as part of that enhanced reporting, but we will not ask you to give that information to us retroactively for the rest of your membership. It will be just for your employees going forward. But again, that's about enhanced reporting, which is a future item.
Our next question, we have a lot of different maintenance field employees, such as construction equipment operators, maintenance workers, bridge maintenance workers, etc. All operate equipment in some capacity. How broad is the equipment operator title in this job code tool? Should we use this code for all employees who operate equipment in any capacity?
This is Margaret, and I know I keep saying this over and over again. Certainly, if you see something that is dead on, a match for that job title, please select it. But if you were to pick a heavy equipment operator for one and someone who is a maintenance worker, certainly they are a laborer, each one would work. So if you have that heavy equipment operator, pick the appropriate title, but more often than not, you'll probably pick laborers for these employees.
We have several employees that are pretty much evenly divided between custodians and bus drivers. Which code should be used?
Well, this is Margaret, a custodian or bus driver. A custodian, I think, more of a laborer. A bus driver could also be thought of as a laborer, but then again, if you pick a general employee, that would work as well. Both of those titles will result in an A15 type of plan coverage if they are current members of the retirement system. So it would not hurt either one. Again, if you have any questions and you are really hesitant as to which code to pick, please feel free to call that 800 number that was provided earlier today.
All right, the next question, we have one police chief. What would his job code be in PFRS?
This is Margaret. As Allison described earlier, when we speak to police chief, we do have titles that cover that position. We are just concerned with someone who comes from maybe the private sector and gets appointed to police chief and now is basically working in an administrative capacity, never, ever been a participant of police and fire retirement system. You really need to enroll them in the ERS retirement system, as opposed to if you have a police chief that has been a patrolman for all these years with either you or another participating employer, already has an established police and fire membership, you would use the code, the appropriate code under the police and fire job code tool.
Alice, or Margaret, in fact, isn't the title pretty much the same?
The title is the same, it's just whether or not they are new to NYSLRS
So
or
it's the
whether they've come up through the ranks.
So it's
through
the
NYSLRS.
retirement system that would be different.
That's correct.
As opposed to the job title.
And I think that's where the confusion lies.
Right.
We are getting a lot of questions from our libraries. What code should I use for a librarian?
This is Margaret. Just taking a quick look at the codes, you probably would end up using the general employee code. There really doesn't seem to be anything specific. I know we have a clerical type of staff, but I know certainly a librarian is more than clerical, so there would be no issues with you using general employee for these employees.
From our school districts, for a school district, where does the cafeteria staff fall in the job code tool? For example, a cook.
This is Margaret. A cook, certainly if you use a general employee, or if they're doing something above and beyond, you consider them a laborer. Either one would result in the enrollment in the general plan, so it would be up to you as to what you feel would be best.
Our next question, have codes already been assigned by NYSLRS to current staff?
As we had noted, we are converting a lot of the information that exists in our current system to our new redesigned system. So yes, we have converted the job instances with appropriate codes already.
And our next question is, we have security employees and cafeteria workers. Would I use a general code for them?
This is Margaret. As you look down the job codes, I know there are instances where you'll see the word security, and the explanation next to it may be specific to our certain participating employer, because some type of security titles warrant special plan coverage. I'm assuming we might be speaking to a school district because we're mentioning cafeteria workers, so a security employee might be considered a laborer. Cafeteria workers, again, a laborer. I think you would be best using that title. If that security person is really not considered laborer. doing something more administrative, you can use a general employee, but they will both again be enrolled into the general A15 plan if they are current members.
All right, our next question. After Retirement Online goes live in May 2019, will I be able to submit a new application via mail?
Hi, probably recognize it's Margaret. Certainly, we don't recommend this because we are making this bigger and better system to accommodate everything online, as opposed to mailing in documents. But certainly, if you mail something to us, we do have to process that application. But bear in mind, you are going to wait longer to get the pertinent information you need to report this person to NYSLRS. So it is to your advantage that you use our new system.
Margaret, this is Lori. Can you remind me, isn't the job code title also on the paper application form?
Yes,
So-
basically all the information that you do need to enroll someone online. We try to make the fields match our new application as they appear online. So there will not be a spot for you to write secretary anymore. You actually have to provide the code that is appropriate to a secretarial position.
So if you've gone through the work to determine what job codes to use, you're halfway there. And then someone can use the enrollment dashboard and then get that person enrolled immediately, get their contribution rates, and start taking their deductions.
It certainly would be to your advantage. And the biggest thing is it reduces the arrears situation for that employee. I know that's a sore point for some people now, and we really want to eliminate it. So by doing this, as Lori suggested, everything is immediate as far as contribution rate. You'll be able to get them on the report ASAP, and then they will not be in an arrears situation.
Our next question. I don't see any part-time codes. How should we code a part-time employee?
If someone is part-time or full-time, it's really not relevant. There are other fields that we will capture that will reflect part-time and full-time status. So if you have a full-time clerical or a part-time clerical, you're just going to use the clerical. The job codes really don't relate to part-time or full-time.
All right, our next question. What is an A15 plan or definition of?
When I say A15, I apologize, I should explain. It's basically the general 30-year career plan that most people, myself included, is registered to. It's someone who has to work to a minimum age or for a minimum amount of years before they get a benefit. For someone who's a Tier 4, who is an A15, they can retire at 55 with as little as 5 years. But if someone has a sheriff or a police, we talk about 384D or 553Bs or 381s, and these are all basically plans where someone can retire, like a state trooper can retire with 20 years of service as a trooper. Once they get the 20 years, they can retire regardless of age. But someone like me, who is an A15, the earliest I can retire is 55. So I do apologize that I didn't explain further, but it's basically the general plan that most participants are covered by.
All right, our next question. Will there be a way for us to obtain a list of the codes used by NYSLRS for our existing employees so we can be sure they are accurate, and also so that we can code new employees consistently with how you have coded similarly situated employees?
Hi, this is Lori again. This is an interesting question. Right now, we do not have the ability to show you what existing job code titles we have assigned after we go through our system upgrade. But we can take a note about that and see whether that's something we might be able to put in as an enhancement. Again, we kind of reverse engineered the job codes, meaning that if somebody currently has an Article 15 plan, the way Margaret just described it, we probably tag them as a general employee because we know that there's nothing distinguishing about their job codes. There must not have been, otherwise they would have had one of those special plans. So We kind of went with the most simplest retrofit for our job codes. But we'll take a note on that and see whether there's a way that we can perhaps expose those job code titles to you. I think we have many pages available within our portal now, depending what your role is, a personnel contact or a payroll contact, but I can't think of a page right now that has that piece of information on it. So we'll take that question away.
All right, our next question. 2 different titles could have 2 different standard work days. Service credit has to be figured separately, correct?
Yes, this is Margaret. That is certainly correct. They would both have the same job code, but on our new app, and also if you go online, we do ask for the standard work day for each position, and obviously we use that for the calculation of service credit. So you will have to provide not only the code, but also the standard work day for that code.
How do we notify NYSLRS of an employee's job code change?
We basically call this a subsequent employment instance. I know a lot of you are used to submitting those applications. We've actually done away with the subsequent employment application, but again, like you do now, when you hire someone to a new position, or you're hiring new to you as the employer, but they're already a participant, we ask that you provide that information, and you'll be able to go online using the dashboard to update that information as well, the same as you would a new enrollment.
This next question, I missed the 1-800 number to call regarding job code questions. Can you please provide it again? Yes, you contact NYSLRS regarding your job code questions at 1-866-805-0990. What is the effect of choosing the auditor job code versus using the office staff code?
Hi, this is Lori. We here at the retirement system are interested in tracking what we refer to as the professional titles. Professional titles undergo periodic examination to ensure that they're being properly used and that they're in compliance with our expectations. So we ask that you identify if you have an auditor, or if you have an engineer, or if you have a physician, we're asking that you use those professional job titles to separate those folks from perhaps your secretaries or office staff.
Okay, our next question. What happens if you pick a wrong code and don't realize it?
This is Margaret. I'm not sure when you realize it or don't realize it. If you realize it, the next day, certainly reach out to us. We can certainly get a correction. If it's something like you meant to pick, this is kind of a stretch, a sheriff or someone that warrants a special plan coverage and it's a general employee, you will still get notification confirming the plan coverage. So certainly that would be something you may wish to review to ensure, hey, I don't have a sheriff enrolled in A15 or a police officer enrolled in A15. That's something that you might want to review. And the member themselves will also be getting packets, as they do now, that will confirm their plan coverage. So that would be a way that you can tell that someone was enrolled to the incorrect code.
In fact, those packages will include the plan booklets. So if someone
That is
is
true.
expecting to get a plan booklet, that's a special plan booklet, and instead they get a general one, they would hopefully reach out to you, and then you could reach out to us and we can get that corrected.
All right, our next question. Would general code be acceptable for our summer day camp staff or lifeguards?
Certainly that would work for lifeguards as well as summer day camp employees.
And they would be identified likely as seasonal employees.
Yes, again, the job code and then how they were appointed, be it seasonal, part-time, full-time, we capture that as well.
All right, our next question. All of our employees work for state agencies. Should we then not always use general employee option?
Hi, this is Lori. We are actually capturing information from the state agencies, but there are instances where not everybody is a general employee. Again, we're asking for you to self-identify the professional titles, and clearly anybody who works for the police would probably not be identified as a general employee either. correction officers. There are other titles within the state agencies.
All right, our next question. Since choosing the correct job code is so important to the employee's plan, should I hesitate to use general employee?
You should really feel secure that if you are reviewing that job code tool and there is really nothing specific to that position, you should feel safe that entering that general job code employee will be the correct plan, because like I said, there are thousands and thousands of job codes that we couldn't accommodate, but we did accommodate all the titles that would warrant special plan coverage. So certainly, you know, if you picked a laborer and it should have been clerical or general employee, they will all get the A15 general plan. But if you have someone that is warranted coverage under a special plan, you should see that job code listed on the tool.
If you use all these general titles instead of matching them to the civil service titles, you won't know what these employees did for work.
So this is Lori. That's true, but we're not interested necessarily in what your employees do for work. We're interested in what benefit plan they're eligible for. So we primarily use your job code titles for that determination. We determine which plan they're eligible for, and then it's probably more of a civil service concern as to what work they're doing in terms of working in or out of title. So we use it primarily for benefit plan determination, and that's why we have so few codes, because we don't need the hundreds of thousands of codes that are out there.
All right, our next question. What code would the position of Director of Operations and Technology fall under? Is it programmer technician or general employee?
That could be either. That could be either. Again, one is more of a professional designation than the other. So I think that would be, it could be either one. Either one will result in the same general plan.
All right, and our next question. I've noticed that there are differences in the city job code listing versus the other municipal job code listing. If I can't find a job code in one, can I use the other?
This is Margaret, and we tried to make it easier for different towns, villages, cities by filtering down to what we thought would be appropriate titles for you as the employer. But it might be best to just look at all the codes under ERS, all the codes under PNF, to make sure that you pick the most appropriate job code. We just thought it might be helpful to filter it down, but it may be too much of a filter for you. So, like I said, don't hesitate to look at the whole tool.
All right, when the standard workday is entered for a specific code, does that apply to every employee hired under that code? Our part-time staff has a 6-hour standard workday, and our full-time staff has a 7-hour standard workday. Since the codes do not determine part-time and full-time status, will the individual have the SDW assigned to them rather than the job code?
This is Margaret. A specific job title should have the same standard workday. You should not have a 6 for a part-time and 7 for a full-time. When we ask for a standard workday, it is if that person works in full-time capacity. So there should not be 2 different standard workdays for this position.
Okay, our next question. We have titles that use the word engineer, but the person may or may not have an engineering degree. Do we still use the job code for engineers?
This is Margaret. It's better safe than sorry. Certainly if it's in the title, I would recommend that you use that job code. I mean, right now we are capturing that code regardless of their educational background. We don't ask for that now. So if you write down engineer on an app, we certainly don't know if someone is just in that title because they're in the title or because they have a degree in that area. So please continue to do as you're currently doing.
All right, our next question is about appointed officials. Codes and zoning officers or tax assessors, would they be coded under general employee?
That would work. Certainly, you can pick a general employee because They do not have any type of special plan coverage.
We do have some job titles out here that are specifically for you to designate whether someone's an appointed executive. It's important for us to understand whether elected or appointed individuals use a timekeeping system. There is some specificity in the job code tool if you look at the descriptions about that.
All right, our next question. If a police officer is a PFRS member with a job code of 08000P and has overtime limitations, that limitation does not come into effect until maybe later in the year. How does that work? So I have to change their job code midway through the year?
No, their job code would not change. The application of overtime limits is notwithstanding their job code. It's a PFRS limitation, so you would not need to change their job code. You would just simply apply the limitation the way it's been specified.
Okay, our next question is, am I still required to mail in a membership enrollment application after I have enrolled a member using Retirement Online?
Hi, it's Margaret, and we currently now don't require that application be mailed to us. If you fax in that document and everything is in order, that's all you need. If you want to keep the original for your files, by all means do that, but we currently now don't require that original document.
And I think this question was specific to once we do the enrollments through Retirement Online. And if the person that you've enrolled is a mandatory member, you will not need to return that form to us. If the person that you enroll, by virtue of their job characteristics, is determined to be an optional member, then we will evaluate that, and you'll get a specific pop-up during that enrollment dashboard that will prompt you to upload a signed copy of their optional membership form. So if you use the enrollment dashboard, unless you're asked to upload the form, you will not need to send it to us. But I do agree, you should keep that enrollment form. It's a great reference document to put in in your employees folder as documentation of what you did.
Yes, and as Lori indicated, we won't require that document for mandatory, but you will not be able to complete that registration without that signed document at that point in time.
If they're optional.
If they are optional.
Yes. You won't get the contribution rate and registration number until you upload it.
That is correct.
All right, thank you. Before we sign off, we just want to reiterate a few points. NYSLRS is committed to providing you with the resources you need to start using the new Retirement Online system for member enrollment. Following this webinar, we encourage you to go take a look at the new NYSLRS job code tool if you haven't already. It may be helpful for you to review the job codes that are applicable to your organization, and of course, contact us if you have any questions. It is critical during this period of transition that you keep your contact types and security roles up to date in our system in order to be bronze certified, as these individuals will be receiving targeted messages from us related to their work. If you have not yet completed your bronze or silver certification, it is imperative that you complete your self-paced training to realize the benefits of the new member enrollment process as part of Retirement Online. Once silver certified, you will be invited to further member enrollment practice opportunities as we prepare to go live in May 2019. Also, remember to visit our Learn More page and get ready for Retirement Online. There are more topics and more webinars available. And as always, our help desk staff are here to help. This is Anna Winans, and on behalf of all of us here at NYSLRS, thank you all again for joining us. We appreciate your time, and please feel free to contact the help desk anytime with any other questions that you have. Thank you.